Everyone, we're sitting here with a box of rocks.
That's what I want for Christmas. A box of rocks.
Actually, we should be more specific. These are not rocks. They're minerals.
Yeah, they're more specialized than rocks. Rocks are mixtures, whereas minerals have a definite structure to them.
So when we have this box here and we try to figure out what one mineral is different than the other, there's really 7 ways we can test. The test can be color, luster, texture, streak, hardness, fracture, and density. So right here, we've got mineral appearance. Really, basically, it's color. It's the easiest thing to identify. Like, this is pink, this is green, this is gray.
Notice he didn't say chartreuse. Don't say chartreuse, say green, light green, bluish green, not aqua, white,
Cloudy, white.
clear.
So that's what we mean by color. Like in this picture, which one of these is gold?
Well, they're both gold.
They look gold, but I can tell you right now they are 2 separate minerals.
So the color isn't necessarily the best way to identify them.
It's actually one of the worst things to identify. Color might be the most noticeable thing, but the reason you can have quartz, for example, with many different colors is just because of some other trace elements mixed in them. So there can be citrines, there can be amethyst, there can be jaspers. They're all quartz.
Right, this is a rose quartz, and amethyst is purple, and there's also smoky quartz. All 3 quartz, all 3 different colors. Not the best test.
So next we've got the luster test. Talk about the luster test.
Well, luster is how a mineral shines. So what we do is we take a look at a mineral and we say, hey, this looks kind of like a metal. So what does it shine like? Well, it has a metallic luster. And metallic lusters are pretty easy to spot, but not always. Sometimes they're a little hard to see. Of course, then that means there must be a non-metallic luster.
But this looks shiny.
But it does look shiny. So maybe there's something more than being non-metallic.
So luster, another thing that you can easily spot, but not a great test.
Texture is how a mineral feels. When you feel a mineral and it feels smooth, you basically say, hey, this has a smooth texture. It could be rough, it could be ragged, it could be greasy, soapy, or glassy. All in all, you're just basically saying, how does this mineral feel? Again, not the best test for a mineral, but we're starting to add things up. So now if a mineral is green with a glassy luster and a glassy texture, maybe you're starting to catch on to what it might be.
What a mineral streak really is you take one of these minerals, you grab a porcelain streak plate, and simply rub the mineral across it. What's going to happen?
Well, it leaves part of the mineral on the streak plate. So then you once again go back to that color thing and say whether or not the streak is white, gray, green.
So you can see in this picture here, we've rubbed 2 minerals across streak plates, and you can see that the red mineral streaks a reddish color, and the yellow mineral streaks a yellowish color. Which brings us probably to the most useful test that we can use, which we call the hardness test. What's going on with hardness?
Well, hardness is how easily a mineral scratches. So if one mineral scratches another, it's harder than that mineral. But you don't always know what the hardness of the minerals are, so sometimes you need some other objects to help you out. And if those things are harder than the mineral, they'll also scratch the mineral.
What geologist Frederick Moe came up with was at least 10 common minerals that he knew their hardnesses by scratching them against each other, and came up with a nice little list for us right here. So we also have a test kit that you'll use in class that has the exact mineral on the tip of the scratcher.
And so what you can do is take one of those little guys, take this guy, and use it that says 5, and I scratch it across there, and hey, it scratched it. So we know it's less than 5. Is it less than 4? And it is, because both of them are scratched.
Let's go to 3.
Let's go to 3. It is scratching 3. 3 is scratching it, but 2 is not, so it's somewhere between a 2 and a 3.
Is there anything in between 2 and 3? There's something right here on your hand. Those thumbnails.
This thumbnail with a 2.5. I try to scratch it. It's not working. I'm going with 3.
There you go. And that's how you can narrow down the hardness. You may not know the exact number, but you can at least get a good ballpark based on scratching minerals against each other. The toughest one on the list?
Diamond.
Diamond. Diamond's your 10.0, hardest one to scratch. So we'll do an example here. Topaz. Topaz can scratch what, but cannot scratch what?
Topaz can scratch quartz, but cannot scratch corundum.
That's what you do. It can scratch something softer than it, but it can't scratch something harder than it. Go through the list and practice a couple other ones on your own. The next thing we can say is, how does a mineral break? And one way it can break is through cleavage.
Cleavage is a smooth break in the rock, so it will come off in a plane. In the left-hand picture, you are seeing something with perfect one-directional cleavage. In other words, it only breaks in one direction, where on the other side there, you're seeing it break in 3 smooth directions, and so you have 3 directions of cleavage. Sometimes when minerals break, they don't leave any recognizable shape. This is called fracture, when there's no way to tell whether it is cubic, hexagonal, or any shape at all.
So the 2 ways you can say in generalized breakage patterns is they either cleave or they fracture. Brings us next to crystal systems. When we look at a mineral, we can see that they form in specific crystal structures. And what about these shapes?
Well, there are a lot of different shapes for crystal systems. The easiest ones usually to spot are the cubes. So if you see a cube in a shape in one of the minerals, then you can write down that it has a cubic crystal system.
If it leans a little bit, though, it's got that monoclinic. This brings us to another test here, which is density, which is actually a really kind of a dead giveaway to figure out what mineral you have. Why density?
Well, density, or specific gravity, as geologists like to call it, it is a test that will tell you exactly how much
matter
is in a given space.
So in terms of water takes up 1 gram of mass for every cubic centimeter of volume it takes up, versus gold, which is 19 grams per cubic centimeter. So if you know the specific gravity of this mineral, you can then compare it to any other mineral on our charts that has that specific gravity. If the densities match up, it's got to be that material.
And your specific gravity is going to be greater than 1, because if it wasn't, it would float on the water. So keep that in mind when you're doing your math.
Which brings us to the last thing that all these minerals could have. They could have some type of special property. Anywhere from odor to taste to magnetism. There's a magnet in your box that works, picks up nails, so it could interact with one of these minerals. And you can test like that. Acidic reactions. If you put acid on some of these minerals, the elements, the calcium, may react with the acid and start to bubble. Fluorescence, phosphorescence. What's going on there?
If you shine certain light into a mineral, will give the mineral the appearance that it's glowing, and basically it is.
So I'll leave a link for glow rocks. And one other thing would be double refraction, which is just having a mineral bend the light that passes through it.
Instead of 1 image, you actually see 2 images through the actual mineral itself.
So you'll get a box of minerals in your lab. You'll have lots of materials to test with. Remember, your tests are color, luster, texture, streak, hardness,
breakage, specific gravity, special properties, crystal structure.
So hopefully, after knowing all that information, you can then search for minerals with those unique features and identify what the heck this mineral is.
I have no idea.
Good luck.